guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to the 2022 Thanksgiving Cook With Me. So I am hosting Thanksgiving in our new house this year. My husband is home this year. Everything is pretty well back to normal. Last year he was away at basic training for the military, but he is home this year, so we are gonna go ahead and post. So I have a lot to do. Today is the day before the get together, so I'm prepping a lot of things, cleaning a lot of things. So I'm gonna show you the meal plan and my to-do list, and then we will jump right into cooking and getting things ready for Thanksgiving. Okay, so here is the to-do list for the next couple of days. It is extensive, but it's not awful. So today we're gonna be making some deviled eggs and the pumpkin pies, also pumpkin dump cake. I need to shred the cheese that I have and then do some cleaning. So I need to sweep the kitchen and the living room, vacuum the hallway, clean the bathroom that the guests might be using, and then I need to set up the table and chairs. We still don't have a dining room table, so I just need to set up the folding table that I got, and then I need to make sure and lay out the rolls for tonight, probably right before we go to bed tonight. And then I need to get out my crock pots and my Instant Pot and then all the pans I'm going to be using to organize all of the food for tomorrow. So I'll do that. I'll do these two like late tonight. And then tomorrow we're going to be doing green bean casserole, corn casserole, veggie casserole, mashed potatoes and gravy. I'm making homemade mac and cheese. I need to bake the rolls. And then I'm making an apple cobbler, some holiday punch. My husband is going to be deep frying a ham, which is awesome. And then I just put utensils here because I need to remember to actually lay out the utensils. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and get started. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. First things first, I'm going to boil up some eggs for our deviled eggs. So I've got 12 eggs. I'm going to put these in a pan and then cover them with water. And then I will put a lid on this and bring it up to a boil. And then once it starts boiling, I'm going to take it off the heat and set a timer for 12 minutes. But while that is coming up to a boil, I'm going to go ahead and get started on our pumpkin pie. So I'm making a double batch of pumpkin pie, and I will leave all the recipes linked down below for you. But this is the absolute best pumpkin pie recipe I have ever had. It is the Pillsbury recipe, and I'm telling you, it is the absolute best. You have to try it this holiday season. So after I have my filling prepared, I'm going to go ahead and get a couple of pie crusts. These are just the frozen pie crusts. I have never actually made my own pie crust. It's just kind of one of them things that the frozen is easily accessible, and I just always get that. So after I dumped these in, I realized I had a ton of filling left over, and I kind of suspected that I would. I just didn't think that I would have that much. So I went ahead and got a cake mix to make pumpkin dump cake as well. So that's what I'm doing right here. I will leave this recipe down below for you, but I have made this in a what's for dinner, and it is a hit. Everyone ate this at my Thanksgiving get together rather than the pumpkin pie. So if you're gonna make anything pumpkin, definitely try this. It is so, so good. As I said before, I was waiting for my eggs to come up to a boil, so they are finally boiling, and I'm going to remove them from the heat and let them just sit there for 12 minutes. These are the best boiled eggs. I have never had one that's undercooked or overcooked, and they don't have the green ring in them. But after they've sat there for 12 minutes, I'm going to run some cold water. Normally I would do an ice bath, but I didn't have any ice this time. My fridge doesn't make ice. So anyway, I'm just putting them in some cold water, and then I will peel them. So I do have an Instant Pot, but I'm scared to use it, honestly. I'm just going to have to get in and do it eventually, but I did not want to experiment this Thanksgiving dinner, so I'm just doing it the old-fashioned way. But a little tip for you, if you are trying to peel eggs, I have found a really easy way is to just let them cool off just a little bit, maybe 5-10 minutes, and then come back and peel them in the water. Make sure that you leave your eggs submerged in the water. Something happens and it's just as easy to get off. The first 2 or 3 eggs that I had weren't quite cold enough, so I was having a really hard time, but after I was able to get past these few eggs, the other ones, the shells just came right off. So just a little tip for you. So the pumpkin pies are done. This is what they look like when they come out. They are so delicious. My favorite pumpkin pie recipe, seriously. And then we're going to get started on filling the deviled eggs. So I've got them all peeled. I'm just going to cut them in half and take out the yolks, and we will fill them. So I don't really have a recipe for deviled eggs. I kind of just put what I want in them and then taste them as I go. This batch was not as sweet as I would have liked, and it was weird because when I tasted the filling, it tasted perfect, but then whenever I actually ate a whole egg, I don't know, it tasted different, but they were gone. We didn't have any leftovers for the deviled eggs, so apparently everyone liked them, but I like to put mayonnaise, mustard, Miracle Whip, and relish in mine. I'll use sweet and dill relish, and I just really like them that way, and my kids devour deviled eggs. I don't know why I don't make them more often. I literally only make them for get-togethers, but I should really start making them more often because they really are a good source of protein, and my kids love them. So like I said, we're just going to make up our mixture. I do season with salt and pepper as well. It's just kind of a staple, but I'm curious. Let me know down below what your favorite Thanksgiving side is. My favorite side is probably green bean casserole, and I love mashed potatoes and gravy as well, but green bean casserole is one of those things that I will make that throughout the year with like random dinners. I just think it's so good. My husband isn't a real big fan of it, so when I do make it like throughout the year, I can't make a big batch of it because it'll only be me eating, but it is definitely one of my favorites. So I'm curious what yours is. So now that my filling is put together, I'm gonna go ahead and put the filling into a plastic bag. I just like to use a cup to stand it up, and then I'll just put the filling in the bag and then cut a hole in the corner of it, and it just makes it easier. And then you don't got to get 2 spoons and get all dirty. You can just literally pipe it into the eggs and then throw the bag away. So that's just a little tip for you there. I also bought this little deviled egg holder on Amazon this year. I'm glad that I did. It was a good investment. It was only $10, but I will leave it linked down below for you if you're interested. It is plastic, but the lid fits securely on there, and it fits 24 eggs, so I really like it. So here's what they look like when they are done. I'd sprinkled a little bit of paprika on them, and they came out so good. And then around that time, my pumpkin dump cake came out as well, so I went ahead and took that out, and here's what that looks like. And so now I ended up getting like 4 pounds of sharp cheese. I ended up just shredding 2 pounds of it, and that was plenty. But I have this cheese grater here. I really love it. It makes it easier to shred cheese like this, and I can link this down below for you as well. I actually saw it on Made in the Makings channel first, and I decided to check on Amazon. I think she got hers on QVC, but I got mine on Amazon, so I can link it down below for you. Okay, so it is the next day. Here are the rolls. They have doubled, if not tripled, in their size. I let them rise overnight. It's 8:45 right now. I've got the oven preheating to 350. I'm just gonna go ahead and cook these so I don't have to worry about them. And then if we need to, I can always throw them back in the oven right before people get here just to warm them back up. But I just want to get it over with and get it out of my way. So I'm gonna go ahead and work on these. And then I'm also going to go ahead and organize all of my pots and pans to make sure that I have room for everything. So I'm gonna do that right now, and I'll show you how it turns out. Okay, I think I've got everything organized. So I'm gonna do the mac and cheese in this pot. I'm gonna do green bean casserole in this foil pan, corn casserole in this foil pan, apple cobbler in this one. I'm going to make the turkey on the stove, but then transfer it over here just to keep it warm. And then I'll change of plans. My husband is not doing deep fried turkey. He's not feeling up to it, so we're just gonna do it in the crock pot. It's gonna be fine. Deep fried ham, not turkey. And then stuffing in this pot, and then the veggie casserole in this pot. So I think I have enough of everything, but we're just going to get to cooking and get this dinner done by 1 o'clock. So the rolls are done, but I ended up cutting most of the bone off the ham, and then I went ahead and just sliced it up and put it in the crock pot so that whenever it's time to go, it's ready to go, so that we don't have to worry about cutting and everything. So I'm just gonna heat it in the crock pot. It's already cooked, obviously. And then it came with this brown sugar glaze that I'm gonna move it to a bigger pan when it's closer to time, and I'll make the glaze and then just drizzle it over the ham. And of course, I'll show you that process. But so right now, I'm going to make corn casserole, and then we'll get started on the stuff that we need to on the stovetop while the corn casserole is in the oven. Okay, so for Jiffy corn casserole, you're gonna need a full stick of melted butter, half a cup, a packet of Jiffy cornbread mix, just one. And I would not recommend doubling this unless you have a ton of people, because it is very, very rich. Okay, and then it's 1 can of corn that is drained, 1 can of cream style corn, 2 eggs, some recipes don't call for eggs, but I've made it both ways, and I think that the recipe with eggs is so much better. So highly recommend using eggs with yours. Half a cup of white sugar, which I'm getting very low on. I'm gonna have to get some before Christmas. And then half a cup of sour cream, which I'm just gonna eyeball. I don't measure that sort of stuff, but it is half a cup of sour cream. What the heck? Okay, and then we will just mix this very well until it's all combined, and then I will bake it in a 350-degree oven for 40 to 45 minutes. Make sure you watch it if your dish is shallower than 9 by 9. That's what the recipe calls for. So I'm just gonna watch it about 30 minutes, and then we'll see where it's at. It is optional, but I'm gonna throw just a handful of sharp cheddar cheese in there. I think it makes it good too. I kind of combined 2 different recipes together to make my own. So I will type out all the instructions down below for you. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and get started on our green bean casserole. So I've got 4 cans of green beans here that I have not drained. And then my secret to the best green beans is beef bouillon. So I'm gonna do 1 teaspoon per can, so that'll be 4 teaspoons. And that is literally it. I'm just gonna let this come to a boil and make sure that they're heated through. So I'll probably just pop a top on it and let it heat up. And then I'm gonna go ahead and work on the sauce. All right, sauce for green beans. It is 1 can per 2 cans of green beans. So I have 4 cans of green beans, so I'm gonna do 2 cans of cream of mushroom. If you don't like mushrooms, you can use cream of chicken, cream of celery, whatever you wanna do, but we like cream of mushroom around here. So I'm just gonna dump these in. If inflation wasn't so stinking high this year, I would have got Campbell's, but it was double the price and I just could not justify getting Campbell's this year. So we're gonna doctor it up and we're gonna make it taste good. So to this, I'm gonna add a little bit of pepper. This pepper is like really fine. And then just some onion and garlic powder just to give it a little bit more flavor. And then I'm gonna add a little bit of milk just to thin it out just a little bit. And then we will mix this together until it's well combined, and then we will mix our green beans in with it, add some French fried onions, and stick it in the oven. So while we are waiting on the green beans to come to boil, I'm gonna go ahead and make the gravy because, like I said, we'll just be putting this in the crock pot to leave it on warm, so I don't have to worry about that last minute as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and dump my 4 packets of gravy in here. Just a little tip for you. If you're doing this, I would recommend adding a half a cup more of water because it is going to thicken up the longer that it stays in the crock pot. You can always add more water later, but this is just what I have found has worked for me. I'm just gonna whisk this all together, let it come up to boil, and then we'll transfer it to our little crock pot. Okay, green beans are starting to boil, so I'm gonna go ahead and grease my pan. Also, I got these foil pans from Costco a couple years ago. They were like $7 for like 30. I don't know if that's still the case today, but they have lasted me 2 years. So if you can get your hands on them, I do recommend. Okay, so we are gonna drain the green beans just because you don't want all that juice in there. And then we're gonna add our cream of chicken, or cream of mushroom, sorry. Just lightly mix it together. You don't want to break up your green beans. Then we're going to add just a little bit of French fried onions, not a whole lot. You want to save most of them for the top. That's maybe like a cup, half a cup, maybe. And then we'll just fold these in lightly, very, very gently. And then we'll transfer them to our baking dish. And then whenever the corn casserole comes out in about 15 minutes, we will put this in the oven. Okay, so it is getting closer to time. I'm gonna go ahead and get started on the veggie casserole. So it is half a cup of vegetable broth, but I only have chicken. I don't have vegetable broth, so I'm just gonna use chicken broth. I've got half a teaspoon of the Knorr bouillon powder. You guys know that I love so much. I'm gonna add that. And then it's a 10-ounce can of cheddar cheese soup. Never cooked with this before, so we'll see. This is an experiment. When I had this recipe in mind, I wanted more veggies, like, because you know you have the green bean casserole, but it's, you know, covered with cream of mushroom, and then you have potatoes, which is good, but you literally have like nothing else as far as veggies go. So we're gonna try this year and see what everyone thinks. I'm a huge fan of broccoli, cauliflower, and cooked carrots, so I'm hoping that it goes over well, so we'll see. But you're just gonna mix this together. Now, this crock pot, it's the crock pot brand. I have found that it cooks things a lot faster and hotter. So the recipe says 3 to 4 hours, but I'm cooking this about 2.5 hours ahead of time. And if I need to, I can always crank it up, but just, you know, if you know your crock pots, just do what they say, honestly. And then we're gonna add 2 bags of the California style vegetable mix. It calls for 24 ounces, so that's 2 bags, and it says to be frozen. And I'm just gonna toss this together. It says to add cheese now, but I think I'm gonna wait until closer to time and just like top it with cheese. We'll see. So then, like I said, we're just gonna cook this on low for about 2.5 to 3 hours. So for one last dessert, this is super simple. I saw this on the Watch channel and then I saw it on Pinterest as well, but it's just apple cinnamon cobbler. So you want to get a can of cinnamon rolls. I'm just using Great Value. It was cheaper and it was readily available to me, so that's what I got. We're just going to chop these cinnamon rolls into 4s and then layer them on the bottom of a casserole dish. You want to make sure that your dish is greased. And then all you're going to do is dump the apple pie filling over the top, and then we will bake it in the oven. I'll have to look at my recipe. Pretty sure it's 375 for 20 minutes, but check down below just to be sure. So I'm gonna go ahead and make the stuffing. So I'm tripling this recipe, so it's 1.5 cups of water to half a stick of butter. So I'm gonna do this 3 times. So the veggie casserole is finally starting to heat up. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw in some cheese. I'm just gonna do like a handful. I don't remember what the recipe calls for, but I'm just gonna do a handful or so. And then whenever it's done, you will top it with cheese. And I did taste it and it tastes really good. So I hope that everyone likes it because I like it. Okay, we are starting to melt and boil. I'm just gonna stir. Oh my gosh, child. It's not, no, we're almost boiling. I'm gonna leave the lid off. Okay, I got all the potatoes peeled. I'm gonna chop them up, but I'm just going to stir this. It's a little watery. I'm gonna leave the lid off and just kind of let some of the stuff evaporate. Hopefully it crisps up a little bit. I might put it in the oven because I'm gonna transfer it to a foil pan anyways. So I might put it in the oven and see if I can get the top crispy because nobody likes soggy stuffing, but I don't know, sometimes this stuffing mix does that. But right now I've got green bean casserole in the oven. I'm just gonna go ahead and cook that. It's about 11:30 right now, so I have like an hour and a half, so I'm like down to crunch time. But I'm going to get the potatoes boiling. I've got green bean casserole in the oven. I'm gonna go ahead and get out the ham out of the crock pot because it's heated through. I'm gonna put that on a foil pan. I'll just show you. Let me just show you. So we are gonna go ahead and get started on our mac and cheese. So I'm making the sauce. I am doubling this recipe. The recipe that I will leave typed down below for you is a single batch. This is a double batch made with 16 ounces of pasta. When I make this for my family, we just do half a box, so just 8 ounces. But I am going to double it today. Let's see, I need my whisk. So I'm just gonna let some butter melt in the bottom here, and we'll let that melt down, and then I will come back. While this is just about melted, I'm gonna go ahead and add some garlic powder and onion powder. I'm just eyeballing because I've made this so many times, so I know the recipe. But like I said, I'll leave the actual measurements down below for you. Onion powder and garlic powder. I'm just gonna let those toast for a few seconds. Okay, we're gonna add some half and half. Okay, so for a double batch, you're gonna need 4 cups of half and half. I used heavy cream the first time, and half and half is heavy cream is so expensive, like I can't justify it. Sorry, that was my microwave. So we're doing 4 cups of half and half. And we're just gonna let that come up to a boil. It's not quite boiling, but it's definitely getting hot. So I'm gonna go ahead and add some sharp cheddar cheese. So I'm just gonna do probably about 4 handfuls, whatever is equivalent to like 4 cups. And then we're just gonna melt this down. So it's all melted. It did not take long at all, maybe 45 seconds. And now I'm gonna add 16 ounces of Velveeta cheese. I like getting the Great Value Melt and Dip. I feel like I've talked about it to no end on my channel if you've watched any of my videos, but I am a firm believer in this Great Value Melt and Dip. It is about $3 cheaper than Velveeta, and I feel like it's just as good. So I'm just gonna drop these in like one by one. It's not gonna take very long to melt at all, so just make sure you stand here and babysit it. I'll just stand here and kind of watch it, make sure that it doesn't boil, and just stir with my whisk every once in a while. And then whenever this is all melted, we will add our pasta, and it'll be all good to go. This does look like a lot, but I promise the noodles are gonna soak up some of the sauce, so it's gonna all work out, promise. Okay, here is our completed cheese sauce. It is very smooth, and I did taste it, and it tastes pretty much perfect. You can taste to your liking and see if you need to add salt or pepper or, you know, garlic, onion powder, whatever you want to add to it. But I think this is pretty much perfect, so I'm gonna go get my pasta. So I did cook this ahead of time. I cooked it probably 2 hours ago or so. And I'm gonna add in half and then stir it and then add in the other half. Okay, I'm gonna turn the burner off, but I'm gonna leave it on the burner. And then just put a lid on it, and this will keep warm until guests arrive in about an hour. Okay, my potatoes are done, so I transfer them to this mixing bowl. I don't like mashing them in my pot because metal on metal hurts my ears. So I'm gonna mash them a little bit, and then I will add 2 sticks of butter, 4 ounces of cream cheese, and then some sour cream. I don't really have a recipe, I just kind of taste and go. And then I will add some half and half, and it will be good to go. Put it back in the pot and then keep it warm until everyone gets here in about an hour. feel like I'm getting down to the wire. I'm starting to get a little nervous. I got these from Aldi. I'm just gonna go in and just open it. So I looked up multiple recipes online for how to cook turkey tenderloins in the air fryer, and everyone said 400 for 30 minutes, flipping once in between. So that is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna fit hopefully all of them in here. I hope they're not that big. Oh yeah, they're not that big. Oh come on, I don't want to use my hands. Shoot, I'm gonna have to use my hands. Oh, never mind. Okay, so there's one. There's 2 tenderloins in each package, and these were about $11 at Aldi. So I'm just gonna do my best to fit these in here. Okay, so hopefully you can hear me over the air fryer, but pretty much one of the last things we're gonna do is transfer the ham from the crock pot to this big pan. I accidentally got these at Walmart one time, and I just kept them because I knew I'd use them at some point. So what I'm gonna do, so I'm just gonna try and layer this ham the best that I can so that every piece gets some glaze on it. Take this glaze that came with the ham. I'm just gonna drizzle this. This is according to the package too. So I'm just gonna drizzle this the best that I can over the top. Normally you would make it on the stove, but this said to do it like this in the oven, so that's what I'm gonna do. Okay. Kind of wanna mix it. For about 30 minutes and then pull it out. Okay, so the last thing that I'm gonna do is go ahead and put together our punch. All this punch is 100% cranberry juice, sparkling apple cider, and ginger ale. Okay, so that is going to wrap it up for this year's Thanksgiving Cook With Me. I hope that you guys enjoyed. I will leave all the recipes either typed out or linked down below for you. If you made it this far, please leave me a turkey emoji down below. But I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.